Glitch recently posted one of the development stages of the second episode, and I found a lot more for you. And today, we're going to learn how our favorite show was created. After the loss of Gumagoo, Pomni started to return to the state of the pilot episode as Kane tried to explain to her what was really going on and why the alligator had no chance of staying in the digital circus in the first place.
I know you guys love your NPCs, but if I start losing track of who's a human and who's an NPC, who knows what could happen? Well, I'm gonna go drink water. It's been a while since I've done that.
The first thing that catches our eye is any lack of background, and of course Kane's eyes, which at the development stage look very horrifying. And if the creators wanted to scare us, I'm sure they would have left Kane's eyes in such a state, but the different color of eyes can be explained by the fact that it's only the first layer. Because if you look at the shots of Kane, it's clear that his eyes have different colors, and the protein on them was added already in the final part of development. I also noticed that Pomni's facial expressions are also a bit simplified at this point. I think that many people have noticed how well-made Fudge Monster is and how smooth his movements and in general everything that is related to him.
I am the Fudge. I used to live within the kingdom walls, but I was banished by that rotten princess after I ate too many of the delicious townfolk. Oh, they were so delicious. Sometimes I can hear them calling to me.
And if in the previous scenes we did not see the background at all, here there is at least some blurring. And this can be explained by the fact that this manipulation is necessary to create the light and shadow that is already present on the Fudge model. However, additional elements such as water splashes were added after the main part of the development. Also, you may notice that in one of the fragments, the circles in Fudge Monster's eyes do not rotate as in the final version. And most likely this is due to the fact that VFX has not been added yet, but it is not certain, and you can correct me in the comments. And I just have to mention the most touching scene of the second episode, and you will see 2 stages of its creation.
Why are you trying to cheer me up? How does this benefit you at all?
I guess I just don't want you to feel like you're nothing. I don't want anybody to feel like that.
But I'm not even a real person. Would I even belong?
I'm sure you wouldn't belong any less than me. And I could use a friend.
Again, we don't see any background, and it's time to tell you why. The reason that the scenes are animated in a blue or gray backgrounds with little to no texture is to have the animation process run smoother because there's nothing much to render. Therefore, the computer doesn't have to do lots of work. Reflections, lights, textures, and background art. Gumagoo also looks completely gray while Pomni's model is close to the final version. I think this is because the creators have had the main character model for a long time, and they just need to create their animation without making them from scratch. And this is the first stage, and I will show you the second one later. But for now, let's see how to create a very challenging scene with Pomni, Jax, Kinger, and of course the truck. And it will be the most detailed scene of all.
Here it is. All right, Pomni, you just stay like that, and I'll cross over.
Are you kidding me?
Nice going, Pomni. Now I have no bridge. Ah, that's perfect. Just hold that pose. I gotta get something.
Jax, you...
You know, I swear there was some kind of bazooka back here, but I'm having such trouble finding it.
Pomni, take this!
Here it is. All right, Pomni, you just stay like that, and I'll cross over.
Are you kidding me?
Nice going, Pomni. Now I have no bridge.
Aha! Gotcha! The arms aren't long enough.
And besides the 3D animation, we also see the drawn concept of this scene, and at this stage of development, there is already some landscape, and we can at least see the first layer of sky. But the fun part is the various details of the trucks that are already ready for the next part of the animation process. Also, the character movements are still far from perfect, and this is clearly shown in some scenes. Remember how I said that I will show you 2 stages of creating this scene, and we have already seen the first one, so it's time to show you the second part.
I don't know. We're somewhere under the map, I think.
Map? Why aren't you or any of your crew up here?
I'm not sure. Because we're not, NPCs?
NPCs? What are you on about? What are you people?
And here we don't see any outlines of the territory, but only gray-blue background. But it is explained by the fact that to facilitate the creation of Gumagoo animation, all unnecessary elements were removed, and as we see in the final version, all these manipulations were done not in vain. And Gumagoo turned out to be really amazing both in terms of plot and in technical terms. And the most touching scene of the new episode, Kaufmo's funeral, also could not do without our review.
Got everything ready.
Hey, you at least want to join us for Kaufmo's funeral? We like to have a little funeral service to remember the people who abstract. This one just got pushed around a bit with your arrival and everything.
It's the least we can do to honor their memory.
We have already discussed the lack of backgrounds, but the characters themselves have not been touched yet. If you pay attention, you will notice that their clothes and, in general, their body looks completely different than in the final version. And this is explained by simplification on the one hand and color correction on the other hand. After all, Jax's body color or Ragatha's dress were most likely finalized at the very end, and instead of the obscure blue dress, we saw a beautiful purple dress that looks very similar to our Ragatha. The absence of elements on Zubal's body is explained by the same, and Kinger's eyes have the same feature as Kane's. It's just the first layer. And if you take a closer look at this scene, you will notice how Max and Chad are having fun dancing, and the process of development of such a small scene was also shown to us. Well, now let's see how the movements, facial expressions, and everything else of the main and secondary characters of Candy Canyon Kingdom were created. And at this stage, we realize how qualitatively the creators approach the creation of new episodes. After all, if we remember the pilot episode, the movements of the mannequins were very mediocre, while in the second episode, we see a huge number of mannequins and all of them move in different ways, which cannot help but delight. And at the end, let's digress a bit and look at different cursed scenes that will make you smile. Well, which of these scenes did you like the most? Write in the comments. Well, for now, we keep waiting for a new episode that will appear somewhere in... More on that later. Bye-bye, everybody.